Okay, so I saw online someone asking how to stitch two shots together, and I thought I'd start with the easy option. I'm only going to do the easy option, and so we have this tracking shot here. It'll play for me, and the thing is to 3D track it, right? And let's start with an easy thing. Would be to 3D track it, and then put a static shot on the tail end of the shot. So let's say she's walking through a door. This is always quite a good way of stitching scenes together. Is have the actor walk through a doorway or a framed area that you can use as a wipe, right? So then what I've done is I've got this image here. Not it should be higher resolution than this. Unfortunately, this is what I've got. And so then I did a frame hold, did a match grade, so it's roughly in the same. As I matched it to this footage, so the colours are sort of similar. I need to adjust the black levels, and then I also rotate out the doorway. I don't know why my mask is not showing up. Q. Oh, there's Q. There we go. So rotate out the doorway. Then I did a pre-mult, which multiplies it. So now we have this nice. And then put that onto a card. I've got a 3D scene. So I had the camera track. You can see it was giving the game away now. And so I tracked obviously the scene. If I switch off or go up to the camera, just hide that for a sec. So we have the camera track. Then I placed the card, brought it into the camera track into the scene, put the card in the scene. So we have the card, right? So you can see how this is all coming together. Then rendered that out, so then we have this on its own. Oops. So that's rendered out. So at the end of the shot. So that moves. Okay, ideally what I do is I would project, rebuild the geometry, project the textures, and this is where you could camera track another scene, but you need to reconstruct the scene of the shot you're going into from another camera track, so a separate thing. But since this is just a still, keep it easy, just a still, and it's relatively 2D, and we don't really see in the ground too much. And then what I did is I did a slight grade on it, so the black levels match better, and a slight blur on it, so it pulls focus as we go through the archway, because it's really low res. And the best way of hiding low res stuff is to blur it when you're close to it, right? I mean, there's only so much you can do. Ideally, I should have got a high res thing. I also tilted the card back a bit to match the perspective. So when it was merged over, so that lines inside the environment roughly match that. It's not quite right. Of the verticals of the environment match the verticals of the card, and you can kind of cheat it a little bit by rotating the card around and stuff, so that the doorway and the panels inside match. Right? Okay. So then what I did is I used the magic brush in Resolve, because it doesn't seem to be anything like that in Nuke, or your roto brush in After Effects, to do a rough. There's only rough. Okay, could be better, I know. So obviously little splodges and weirdness. And then I merged that over, did a slight blur edge thing, which is pretty good in Nuke, over the render, and then I merged the framing, so the framing is correct, right? So this is the end result. So this is how to, as I say, it's slightly. This is merging a moving shot into using a still into a still shot is easier, obviously, than I mean, each use case is slightly different, but you can see that works quite well, apart from the dodgy rotor. If I had to display, there we go. But that's how I would do it, how stitching two shots together. And you could do what they call a Texas switch. So you could have the actor walk off frame and then walk into frame, to switch to take over to another shot. So that's how I would go into another shot. I hope that makes sense. So she walks out of frame in this first shot, and then walks into frame in the second shot, and you could do a Texas switch there. I guess it's all inspired by the TV series Adolescence. I mean, that's the whole kind of one shot, the oneer. So this is kind of how you can stitch shots together in Nuke. I mean, you could do it in Resolve or even Blender, but that's the basic premise: is you need a 3D track, and then of the first shot, and then a 3D track of the second shot. Obviously, I'm just using a still here, and then you project in the 3D track of the second shot. You need to project onto some basic geometry, and then you'll end up with a still then, effectively. But anyway, I just thought keep it simple. So that's it.